Hey, let's talk about the Ump Tracker homepage. So, let's go to the website. And okay, what are we looking at? Well, we are looking at the missed calls from the previous day's game. Today is August 28th, and these are the missed calls from August 27th. Okay, the green pitches are pitches that were incorrectly called a strike. The red pitches are pitches that are incorrectly called a ball. So the first thing you're going to notice is that one pitch is larger than the rest. And so that's the pitch that has the focus on it. And so right here on the scoreboard, you see information about that pitch in terms of the situation in which that pitch was thrown. And then you also see information such as the umpire that called that pitch, the location in which that pitch was thrown. So this location, whereas 0-0 would be a pitch right down the middle to a player of average height, which is represented by this orange zone right here. Um, so a little bit of a tangent. The white zone, the dotted line, is the individual player's strike zone, which will vary, right, from the average. So if I click on all of these different points, you'll see it'll change. Brian Dozier, this is a great example. This guy is a short guy with a crouch, so his strike zone is shifted down a little bit lower, and it's also smaller. So this pitch, although you would think, without clicking on it, that it would be a correct call, is actually incorrect to him. So moving on, we also have the distance missed from the closest edge of the strike zone. In this case, 1.88 inches to right there. You also have the 24-hour rank. So this is the 94th worst call of the day, you could think. So out of all these missed calls, that would rank 94th. All right. And then we also have the all-time rank, meaning since 2014, this is the 35,802nd. I believe this was the worst call of the day. Yeah, and it would be 1,052nd worst call of the day. Okay, so let's say you're clicking through these, but you want to look at a specific range or, top 10, maybe worst calls of the day, something like that. You can change this distance missed range slider, and that will subset the points that you're looking at. So this will only contain pitches that were missed in between by 4.37 to 5.66 inches. Um, yeah, so that can be useful. Something that, in my opinion, is probably the most useful tool in this would be this umpires tab down here. So what this shows, it shows the daily umpire performance ranking. And so it's basically how their daily performance ranked on an all-time scale. All-time meaning 6,970 games since 2014. So Brian Gorman, so an interpretation of this would be Brian Gorman's performance in his last game ranked 6,828th out of 6,970, so not very good. I can tell you that in this game, it was a Marlins game where he missed 17 total calls, so already not really starting out well, but 13 were in favor of the Marlins. So 13-4 was the separation there. So this ranking system takes into account not only accuracy of the umpire, but it also deals with the fairness in which the game was called. So 13-4 is not a fairly called game, so he's going to be penalized heavily for that, and as you can see, he was. This Mike Everett one, this was the infamous game. The Detroit Tigers had 4 players ejected based on this guy's zone for pretty good reason. It was a one-run ball game, so there was a little more weight on these calls. But 12 calls in favor of the Angels, 3 in favor of the Tigers. So not a fairly called game, and in a one-run ball game, players are going to take notice and not be very happy. Down the list right here, you see Will Little. He had the best performance of the day. I think he missed 6 total calls, 3 in favor of both teams, so he had a pretty good game there. So you can see the separation. Okay, this pitchers tab right here, it shows the top 5 pitchers that were helped by the umpire and hurt by the umpire. So this expected runs given, you don't need to really know the calculation involved with that if you're not too interested, but just know that it deals with missed calls and it weights the situation. So obviously, some situations that a missed call would be made in are going to affect the game more strongly than others, and this takes that into account. So these guys were helped the most by the umpire, these guys were hurt the most. Same thing for batters. Clayton Richard hurt the most. Rene Rivera helped the most. And then teams, we have the teams that were helped the most by the umpires. The Marlins are right up there, and then the Angels, like we were talking about with that Angels-Tigers game, 2.0766 compared to the Tigers at 0.4654. So this is just an illustration of how much the umpires helped out each team. But it's not relative to the team they're playing against, so take that into account whenever you're looking at this map. Um, Next time, we're going to talk about what happens whenever you click on these things and talk about the daily app in more depth. Thank you for watching if you made it this far. Really appreciate it.